The portal's in a crazy spot, a crazy situation. The craziest thing about it is Deion Sanders, Nick Saban kind of predicted it. A lot of these people predicted it. So today we're gonna watch actually a few TikToks. I know crazy about some transfer portal updates. Some people feeling like some things are a little, unfair in the portal. Maybe Texas is rigging the game a little bit. But we got to start with Deion, and he says it best.
The thing about these guys, man, you got to understand when a guy leaves a program that selected him, picked him, or got him at the portal, he leaves for a multitude of reasons. The number one reason people leave is money. It's not a disdain for staff or disdain for players. It's money. Let's just be honest, man. Let's stop sugarcoating this foolishness, man. That's why most people leave.
Now, I think when that was said, I think some people, and I'm in the wrong screen. I think a lot of people thought that was just meant to be on some, like almost woe is me victim stuff. But I don't think people really pay attention to what's going on, because then you go to this Ty Simpson situation. That's why I started there. Ty Simpson reportedly turned down a bunch of NIL money from, I think, Miami and a few different places. He never entered his name into the transfer portal, but a bunch of money was thrown at him. So that kind of explains why Jordan Seaton entered the transfer portal so late. Why you have some of these people entering the portal late is that these schools are tampering. These schools are throwing contracts at these kids without them even having any intentions of entering the portal. So let's hear a few about Ty Simpson.
Ty Simpson makes the opposite decision, and he's going to turn down college and he's going to go to the NFL, even though he apparently was offered massive, massive dollars to stay in college, albeit to transfer by both Miami and Tennessee. He even admitted that the offer hovering around $6.5 million from Miami, which is wild. Wait, how is he getting offers if he's not in the transfer portal?
I just want to put something in here. Last year, people were crying because Carson Beck got a 4.3 million. I think Darren Mensah got 4 million a year. Those were looked at as insane numbers, 4 million a year. Now we're talking about, and Ty Simpson is, probably would be one of the top quarterbacks in the transfer portal. But if he's getting 6.5 million and he didn't even enter the portal, that Sam Levitt number, we're gonna talk about that. I mean, there's definitely going to be a $10 million quarterback here in the next year or two.
Like, isn't that tampering? Come on. Like, it's just so blatant at this point. And by the way, I'm not just pointing at Miami and Tennessee. Like, yeah, he names them right there, so we know that they made offers toward him. But like, come on, folks. Like, don't we know that this is prevalent? Don't coaches complain about it all the time? And yet the coaches get together at the AFCA and they talk about rules changes and things that we can change in college football. And we don't get them to lock arms and say, hey, listen, we're going to try to tackle tampering, which we all hate. No. We don't get them tackling that. We get them changing a redshirt rule. What? What? I'm sorry, what? We didn't need a new redshirt rule. Now it's going to be you can play 9 games and still be a redshirt. Why not just make it you get 5 years to play? I don't understand this at all. Again, decision-making in college football is frustrating.
I want to add on something what he's saying. So they did just have a meeting and they voted again on adjusting the redshirt rule. It used to be four games. After the 5th game, your eligibility is burnt. It's crazy that 9 games and you can still keep your eligibility. The reason why it's crazy is because, to his point, coaches cry and complain about the transfer portal and NIL every year. Are you talking about Lane Kiffin does, George Kirby Smart, Steve Sarkisian just went off. Like, Deion Sanders obviously has been very vocal about it. There's plenty of coaches that are obvious about the issues there. So to me, I think what this does is it makes it even more likely that someone does transfer out. You're telling me that I can play 9 games, put film up, and then I can still redshirt, have the eligibility, and transfer. Like, it gets real confusing at that point. It's like, what are the coaches fighting for? Are they actually fighting to have better NIL representation, or are they fighting to make sure that their rosters can survive the best, right? And they can have the most flexibility with their rosters, because it's crazy to have that dichotomy. Y'all voted on that, but the y'all complain about the portal every single day y'all get.
They should have locked arms and tried to tackle things like the transfer portal and specifically tampering, which if they all go in there and try to make some rules and then abide by those rules, then college football would be in a better place.
But that's not going to happen. And I want to add, because with the tampering situation, There is something that did change, so I have to give credit to those who are voting and doing things. The thing that did change in the transfer portal is that there's no more 2 windows. Now, there's still problems with when the portal is open, XYZ, but in the normal, or at least the last few years, this would only be the first wave of the portal, because the portal would then reopen after spring football, which was the dumbest thing ever. Now again, and this is where the rule is at. If you're a graduate transfer, you can transfer anytime you want, which is just adding more wrinkles into this very confusing thing. But with that being said, that is one thing that you're going to have to get used to this year, because you're going to see some people there. There's just people going to be committing over these next few weeks. But today, as I'm recording, is the last day people can enter the portal through traditional means. Teams not being Indiana and Miami, obviously, in that situation. So I will say that is one thing that's better. But clearly, there's a lot more that needs to be fixed as well. Let's see what Mr. McShay has to say about Ty Simpson.
I want to remind people, there was not a quarterback in the country playing at Ty Simpson's level through 9 games. This decision by Ty Simpson is a failure to take the long-term view. And I'm not even talking about money. I'm talking about just when you're my age or 70 or 80 and you're on the rocking chair, don't you want to put yourself in the best position to have success in the NFL? And I think this decision by Ty Simpson fails to put him in the best position to have long-term success in the NFL. And I hate to say that, because his dad's a football coach, and I know everyone's trying to make the right decision by him. That doesn't mean he's going to fail. But I'm a trends guy. What more do we have than history, trends, relying on our experience in this position? And when I'm talking to an NFL head coach, or I'm talking to a GM, or you talk to Parcells about, I don't want a roster full of exceptions. This is why we rely so heavily on these things, man, because we've learned from our mistakes.
And just the idea that maybe Ty Simpson needs to stay another day, I think it's interesting. Or stay another year rather. For me, I bring it down to the Anthony Richardson situation. I don't trust quarterbacks that haven't started enough games, right? You don't have to start 1,000 games. You don't have everyone doesn't have to be a Bo Nix. But at the same time, if you've only started one season, and we've seen some really high-level things from Ty Simpson, I think it's so interesting for him to just go ahead and pack it up and say, I'm out of here and go to the NFL. Now, this is a weak quarterback draft, so maybe that's just what he's thinking of. Oh, wow. Sorry, while I'm looking at this wide receiver transfer, Nick Anderson. So, LSU just lost Nick Anderson. Sorry, but let me focus. Ty Simpson can be a top 5 pick in this particular weak draft class. At the same time, I think that somebody who, unlike Dante Moore, which I think Dante Moore and Ty Simpson both made the interesting, not wrong, but interesting, because I feel like Dante Moore, your stock's never going to be higher. For Ty Simpson, I think your stock can go a little higher. And I think you can, if you played as good as you did and you put some more cherries on top of that, you could turn into something that is an undoubted first round pick. Like number one, we gotta draft him over Arch Manning. I don't know how that goes down. Going right into it, hey, maybe the Browns take the chance on Ty Simpson there. I think that would be the most obvious team, if not the Jets, right? So there's a lot to think about in that situation, but I don't think Ty Simpson made the wrong decision. I do think that both of those decisions, him and Dante Moore, in the light of NIL and in the ability to be able to take those next steps and develop further. It's really about who you think. Are you a Drew Aller type of guy, right? Or are you someone who really thinks that you need to strike while the iron's hot and get through there? But hey, let's see what Lane Kiffin has been doing, because Lane Kiffin has been pretty nasty in the transfer portal as he's made his way to LSU.
Lane Kiffin just pulled the most savage recruiting move of the century. So he just landed quarterback Sam Levitt, the top overall player in the portal, but this is about how he did it. Now remember, Levitt left his visit with LSU last week without signing, because while he was courtside with Lane, the news broke that Lane was trying to pursue Washington quarterback Damon Williams. So Levitt leaves and heads to his next stop, Knoxville, Tennessee. But after the threat of a lawsuit kept Williams in Washington, Lane realized he had to chase down Levitt. So while Levitt heads to his Tennessee visit that night, Lane posts that he has touched down in Knoxville, Tennessee's airport. Even showed up at Tennessee's campus. Remember, there's not one college town that hates a single man more than Knoxville hates Lane Kiffin. And multiple sources confirmed that the bad man was in fact back in town. And of course it paid off. Levitt chooses LSU over Tennessee. As Portal Pete said himself, we'll have to wait to hear Lane Kiffin weigh in, but you have to think that last second trip to Knoxville on Friday night helped this out. Now this is absolutely a home run get for Lane Kiffin, and it seemed like that first month Ole Miss was winning the breakup, and then Chambliss decided to stay at Ole Miss but then didn't get his extra year. But Lane Kiffin pulling out all the stops to get his guy is the most Lane Kiffin thing ever.
Very, very Lane Kiffin-y. Very Lane Kiffin-y. I think it's so interesting. Again, we're talking about tampering and XYZ, and I'm not saying that's like absurdly blatant tampering, but what I will say is, you chasing down this potential transfer quarterback. Like, what are the rules? Like, when do NFL head coaches do that? Like, at what point does Lane Kiffin get to be able to chase down quarterbacks as they go on different visits and stuff like that? Like, I just think that becomes such a wild world that has been extended past high school recruiting into the transfer portal recruiting, which is probably, if not as maybe more important than high school recruiting in this modern era of football. I just, you're sandbagging people's interviews, you're cutting people off as they're going to do them. Like, this is just an entirely different game. And Lane Kiffin has, again, one of the more vocal people complaining about it, and definitely one of the biggest perpetrators in some of the major issues of the transfer portal. So I'm a Texas Longhorn fan. Apparently the Alabama fans are a little mad. What they got to say?
Now this one I'm mad about. You're going to have Alabama fans mad at the staff. You have people mad at Hollywood Smothers. But at the end of the day, Hollywood Smothers, NC State transfer, committed to Alabama a few days ago. They said he enrolled in classes. Then he take a visit to Texas.
Enrolled in
and he
classes.
committed to Texas today. Like, that's, man, like I said, I don't know what went on, but there is no way that just happened, bro. Me personally, if I was on the staff, that's a slap in the damn face. He committed to Alabama, you think you got him, and then he leave to Texas. And I always say this, even with the NIL, some of these players don't come to schools because they love the school. They come because of what they can get, the money and stuff like that. Now, I don't know if his agent or whatever, they went and got more money from Texas, but if you don't want to be here, don't be here. But I'm just looking at it like, stop getting played with Kalen DeBoer and this staff. Stop letting them play with you like that.
Stop letting them play with you,
want to be in Alabama, or don't get them at all. Because look at this. It's going to be interesting in these comments to see who y'all mad at, but y'all can go at the staff. But at the end of the day, the way these agents are, they looking for the biggest payday. These players, they might be looking for the biggest payday, not even the opportunity or whatever the case may be, the guarantees. But right now, I am mad about Hollywood Smothers flipping his commitment to Texas. It is what it is.
Look them horns, man. Y'all let me know how y'all feel about it. I've been very vocal about it. I want these kids to get paid. I think they deserve to get paid. I think they deserve to have these opportunities. But at the same time, the NCAA is doing nobody any favors, not having any rules around who can be an agent, having terrible rules when it comes to how things are set up, and then allowing money in the transfer portal to just run rampant. It's causing a lot of nasty situations where some people are following by the rules and other people are just bending it. But y'all let me know how y'all feel down below. Y'all be girls your next